Well, I really had trouble deciding whether I should do The Godfather or not. That's a joke.
I'm wondering, yeah, that's very good. That's really good. You got me there.
That was a tough one.
I thought it was real. Okay.
It was a life changer, but at the same time, that's all relevant, isn't it? It's relevant to where you are at that time of your life. So a decision you make based on instinct is different than this, you know. So that I know. But I made a couple of choices that, in terms of, there's life choices, of course, there's which career is life, though. Your work is life, too. But I made a couple of choices that I thought were, I knew going in, and they turned out to be really very great for other people. I didn't do it, but at the same time, it's sort of, when I look back at it, that's the choice I made. It didn't bother me at all that they turned out to be well, or so I can't remember a choice. There was one choice I made, but I cannot say it. Because if I say it, it's going to be about somebody who is still around and is working. And he isn't up on this stage, I'll tell you that right. But it was a choice of playing a character. And I was offered this tremendous opportunity. And I didn't feel right about it. And I then went to see somebody do something that it was connected to the role I would have played, but it was too late because some great actor had taken the part. And then when I saw it, they were great in it, so it didn't bother me. And then there was another one too that happened too. But I felt at the time I made a choice because there was a period of, I'm going on talking too much. Sorry. I have that sort of trail off thing. I go into it and I'm gone. Are you done yet?
I'm waiting for Bob. Bob, you're going to do yours, right?
That's great.
About your life choices or career choices, or how do you?
Well, I've had a lot. It's too complicated to go into in this situation, but I guess in relation to this movie, I'm very happy that we worked so hard to get it to where it is today, and because we worked hard and are part of something very special, and then I'm so grateful that it seems to be getting a great reception, and that's so that's a good feeling for me in my life and everybody around me. So I feel really terrific about that. I have so many other life choices that I couldn't go into. In a book you could do it, but here that I'm going this, whatever. So I hope that's a decent answer.
Okay. Do I have to answer? Well, it's a complicated thing, of course. I found that over the years, the choices I made in terms of making films, it got to a point that each film was another lifetime, and I went ahead and made choices as to what I felt comfortable with. I tried some experiments from time to time, but in so doing, I backed out of 2 or 3 major movies that became very popular and very famous and award-winning and that sort of thing. But I couldn't find my way in there. I didn't know why until years later. Years later, when it became. So I always have this line about the professional and the amateur in a way. Like if I stayed an amateur, I think that was pretty good. But an amateur is the word love is an amateur. I'm not putting down professionals, and I always wish I could be. But It took me a long time to understand that. And I guess I shied away from certain projects because I just didn't know how to do them. I didn't feel I had that connection with it. And the connection has to be something personal. And there are other reasons too, but it's a little more layered than what I'm saying. But when the film you didn't do is a great success, maybe no, I couldn't. I couldn't do it. And if I had made it, it wouldn't have been the great success. I don't mean to be self-deprecation, but what I mean is that it would have been a different film. You follow? And so, you made your choice.
Well, Al and I have known each other over the years. We've known each other for decades, since we were in our 20s. And we've worked a couple of times together, and we've had an unusual relationship in some ways, and maybe not so unusual, where we always felt close because of our situations, and we would commiserate or confide or talk or get advice about things over the years, over the decades. And we've worked together too. And with this project, Al and I were at an opening in Europe. I think it might have been London. It was London, Paris, or Spain. And we were so, the people were so great, and the crowd. So we said, why not? One day we hope that we'd be as deserving of this kind of adoration with something that we're more proud of, and then so that this to us is what that is. And I remember the last day of Al's shooting in the Irishman, and I said, remember when we said that to each other that time? And this, for nothing else, we did it in this movie, and we will be proud of it. We are proud of it. So.
I was at the Actors Studio, young man at the Actors Studio. I was about 25 at the time. And I was too shy to do a scene there. I've been there for about 6 months, and I'd see people, and I would be sitting watching, and then I'd go home, and I didn't know anyone there. And then I finally signed up to do a scene. Because at the studio, you have sessions. I'm sorry, this is going to go on. I'm not going to do it.
Keep going, it's good.
I got to slow it down. So I'm there, and then I had the scene, and I was going to do Hickey from Eugene O'Neill's Iceman Cometh and Hamlet, and wrote it down. And it was my turn finally to go up in front of the great Lee Strasberg at the Actors Studio, the hallowed Actors Studio, with all these people who sit out there. And what they do is you do a scene, and afterward they don't criticize it, they discuss it with Lee as the moderator, because it is for professionals. It's not an acting school, the Actors Studio. So anyway, I went up there, and Lee Strasberg was sitting where he sat in the front, and you'd go up on this stage there at the studio, and he said, wow, first of all, he said, Al Pacino. He pronounced my name right. That never happened. I went to a whole school, in public school, they never, Paquin, Pacuno, Pacani, that kind of thing. But I said, he's pronounced my name right. He's a great man. So I went up there and I did a monologue from The Iceman Cometh, which I had done all my life. And I did it, and it was over. And then I turned around and I started Hamlet. Oh, what a rogue. Because he looked at the card, he's Al Pacino, Hamlet and Hickey from The Iceman Cometh. He said, all right, let's go do it. And I got up there and I did Hickey. I did it all. And then I turned around and I did Hamlet. And he said to me, stopped the class, I think it was quiet, and he said, all right, I want you to do Hickey, as Hamlet, and Hamlet is Hickey.
Wow, there you go. That's great.
Right?
That is great.
What did I do? Immediately, I went into Hickey as Hamlet, and Hamlet as Hickey. I did them both, and you know what he said? We take in all kinds here, and the audience was standing up, cheering at the Actors Studio. So what happened is I did both parts relatively well, I guess. But the point is, that's the point. You inspired that story. I'm sorry, but
It's good.
does it answer it? Does it answer it? Thank you. Thank you. I've been wanting to tell that story for years. Finally, I've been...
Should I answer first? Technical issue. This computer-generated imagery was really designed by ILM, Pablo Hellman, and everybody there. And so, in conjunction with Rodrigo Prieto, they worked this out in terms of lighting. Is stuff that I didn't necessarily participate in terms of. There were some technical things. Why is that there? And that explained well because the marker on the face has to hit a certain place, et cetera. But I didn't find that their work with the technical aspects of the lighting that was necessary interfered in any way with what I was doing and what the actors were doing. And I think the one of the key changes that we noticed on set really was the cameras themselves. The cameras had 3 lenses. And I was shooting 2 cameras a lot of the time, so we had 6 lenses. And we had extra crew. And we were carrying 9 cameras altogether because of other issues. And so it became a pretty big operation in a way. And there was a little ritual. Oh yeah, but the center lens was capturing the image. Then there were lenses on either side that were dealing with the information coming from the computer from the markers on their faces, and which were developed in such a way as they were almost invisible, which was great. And the thing about it, then there was this sort of ritual after each time we did a take. Everything would stop, and a young man would come out, and he'd have a board with some kind of design on it, and he'd move it a certain way. And I'd be looking at, what the hell is this? And then it was dead quiet, and then he goes back, and then he comes out with a silver ball. And the ball moved. And I would call it the adoration of the ball at this point. And I realized it was like a benediction of some kind. And he turned it, and then the ball was opaque. It wasn't silver. And he moved it a certain way. I still don't know exactly what that is. But at that point, at first I'm saying, what the hell am I waiting for? And then I realized, this is what's going to be. This is how, now we do the slate, now we do the ball, now we wait. Okay, now everybody can move on. And every time we were using that stuff, that's what we do. Remember, it sort of became like a welcome ritual. And that was the only thing that I felt was, that I was cognizant of, really, on the set. And I think basically one of the things that was interesting was the nature of movement that you guys had to work with. Maybe you could talk about that, you know?
And the role you saw when you first saw yourself as younger.
Well, for me, the challenge would come pretty much every time I really moved in the thing. So they'd say, Al, you're 39. And I'd say, I know that. And it would say, all right. And then they'd say, 39, then I'd have to be in the scene and I'd have to get up. And this would start. And we had a guy there just come up to you and say, you're 39, you get up like a 39-year-old. And I said, oh, yes, and then we do the scene and I'd get up like that. So I wondered how you guys...
Well, the thing was that he came up to me and he said, it was the first day of shooting, and he said, you were yelling at the TV about the Kennedys and stuff, and you got up. And I said, great. Then we did another take. I said, terrific. Okay, we're going to do one more. And then and they came up to me and they said, he's supposed to be 49 in this. And I said, oh, what does that mean? I said, he doesn't look like he's getting up at 49. So I told the guys, I said, you tell him. the first day I'm working with the man. I don't want to go over, hey, what do you do? 40 years we haven't worked. I got to get the first thing I'm going to tell him. So, hey, so I say, okay, I'll go tell him. So I said, Al, everything's fine. Yeah. I said, the only thing is you're 49. He went, oh. And I said, okay, I get it. So we did another take, and you got up. And we cut, and I said, what do you think? And he said, 62. It became a number game until you finally got it.